All right,
Oh.
AFC North. Let's bring it on. Ravens. So the Ravens kind of did a lot of maintenance work here. They got Josh Oliver, who was more of a secondary, third, tight end coming off the bench. What's the question over there?
Oh, do you still think? Do you think they'll still draft Wilson and flip Darnold on draft night like Arizona did with Rosen?
Yeah, I feel like it's inevitable at this point because they bring in a whole new coach or new coaching staff, and Sam Darnold's about to be done with his contracts, and it's one of those where I feel like they could get a second round pick for him going to the right team. So it's one of those, like, because I mean, even the Patriots, for example, we were just talking about the Patriots. The Patriots could be a team that steps up and is like, hey, we could take Sam Darnold for a year and mold him into our defense, or just any team that really thinks that he could develop into it. Because I don't think Sam Darnold's broken. Like, I feel like he's fixable. Because I feel like him being on the Jets for so long with Adam Gase, who's been god awful as an offensive coordinator / coach, and then having no talent around him to help him out. I don't really know if that's all Sam Darnold and like he's broken. I think it's more of he could be fixed with the right coaching staff. So I still think that they'll find. I don't know if they flip him on draft night. They definitely are drafting Wilson 100%. I almost feel like that's a given, but just I don't know like what's telling me that. I'm not seeing anything specific. It's just one of those where I think with a whole new regime and Sam Darnold hasn't worked out last couple of years. Like I said, not really his fault entirely, but it hasn't worked out last couple of years. So I think they end up making the move to get Wilson and build upon Wilson as their future. And then I think they flip Sam Darnold, whether it be on draft night or after draft night for the next draft for like a second or third round pick. So
Yeah. What do you think about Justin Fields? If Zach Wilson just like leapfrogged him?
yeah, Justin Fields, and I am an Ohio State fan. I'm a diehard Ohio State fan, watch every game. I don't know if Justin Fields, to me, is ready to jump in and start on any team. And I think like the Jets need you to jump in and start because they're like rebuilding. And I don't think Sam Darnold's going to stay. So they don't really have a quarterback. And it's not like they signed a veteran quarterback. So I think and that's another thing too with the Jets is they haven't signed any veteran quarterbacks to be like a backup or like an option for them. So that to me tells me that they're going to spend that draft pick on a new quarterback. So that's, but I just one of those where, yeah, I don't know. It's like, like I said, I just think the Jets are going to continue with Wilson, and I think they're going to flip Darnold at some point. So, yeah, I don't know. It's all up in the air right now because everything's pretty much bullshit at the moment because the draft is just one of like up to the draft and free agency and all this like talk is BS because teams are just telling you what they want you to hear so that way they can further whatever their point is. But them not signing a veteran quarterback leads me to think that they're going all in on drafting Wilson.
Is Geno Smith still there?
No, I don't think so.
I forgot where he went to. Yeah, never mind. The Ravens. What I still don't see on here is a wide receiver.
Yeah,
he's in Seattle. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Thanks. That's right.
Yeah. I feel like I did hear that. Okay.
Oh, yeah. That's who he was going to start after Russell Wilson was traded to the Bears.
Yeah. All right. We'll get to that sadness later. Yeah. I don't know if Baltimore is planning on spending a pick on the draft, and that's why, like, there's a couple wide receivers maybe that they like in the draft, and that's why they're not really worried about getting one right now in free agency. Or there's so many wide receivers right now available in free agency. Maybe they're because like Juju Smith-Schuster would be a solid pickup for them. Probably the best pick for them, maybe him or Kenny Galladay. I feel like those are the two that I would go for. So, but yeah,
Looks
I don't know.
Might be going to the Giants.
Yeah, I did see that, but Yeah, so I guess maybe I don't know. Maybe Baltimore is just staying quiet on the wide receiver because they either have plans to sign one later, or maybe they just because the other thing too is they could be waiting because they're not that desperate. I mean, they're a very good team. They could be potentially just waiting until the free agency market kind of dives down in order to get those wide receivers that are kind of left over on maybe
Right.
lesser contracts because they hadn't signed already.
Yeah.
So that, or I think they enjoy like they not enjoy, but they like certain receivers in the draft that maybe could fall to them in the first round, and that's why they're staying put.
Yeah.
But I will say that getting, again, more maintenance signings, re-signing a bunch of players, but I do think that getting Kevin Zeitler was huge because their guard play in Baltimore has been kind of iffy. I mean, they've drafted some young guards lately, but they not really have shown out to be you know, a good starter. So getting Kevin Zeitler is huge for them because that brings in a great guard. Yeah, exactly. I mean, when Yanda retired, that kind of killed their offensive line. And then the other thing too is now not only do you have that issue where they didn't really have guard play, but you also have the problem that they have the guy I was talking about, Orlando Brown Jr., who was their right tackle, and that was their two perfect tackles. But then when he had to step into left tackle, now he wants to get paid like a left tackle and he wants to play left tackle. So now they're stuck there where maybe they may have to trade him. So they not only do they need guards, but they need a tackle. So getting Kevin Zeitler really definitely helps to secure that off or kind of get their offensive line better, at least immediately, and fill a hole on that offensive line that's slowly developed.
Yeah. I was a fan of your at least a while ago, the whole flip trade Allen Robinson
Yeah, I
for
was
Orlando
saying,
Brown.
yeah, I said that they should have done like a straight up trade where it's just they offered Allen Robinson, especially right now. If they're not going to get a deal done with Allen Robinson, he already said he's not signing the tag. Flip him for Orlando Brown right now. Get yourself a left tackle who's 25 years old playing at a Pro Bowl level and sign him to a massive deal for an extension that lasts whatever rebuild you're about to go through with the Bears, which we'll talk about it later again. But that would be a great pickup for the Ravens too to get Allen Robinson, slide him right in there.
Yeah.
Maybe they're still, like I said, the Ravens are probably signing these players right now, trying to fill holes. And then wide receiver, I think they're going to address either draft or free agency or trade later. I think they're waiting. All
Waiting for
right.
the scraps.
Yeah. Well, waiting. Yeah. Waiting for whoever's left. All right. So Bengals getting a little bit better here. So Bengals upgrade a little bit at corner. They spent a lot of money last year too at corner, and that really didn't pan out as much as they'd hoped. So now they try to fix that again by getting Awuzie from Dallas coming over. He's a good secondary corner, and then you get Mike Hilton, who's more of a slot corner, coming over from the Steelers. Both are younger guys, 26 years old each, I think, honestly. 26, 27, somewhere in that range. So those are two great fill-in spots for them to build a little bit more depth in that secondary there. And then the big signing, I think, for them, obviously, is Trey Hendrickson. Had like 14 sacks last year for the Saints. One of the best in the league last year, stacking the quarterback and rushing the quarterback. So massive signing for them. He's also only like 25 years old. So getting him super young again to kind of help bolster that defense, hoping that when you get what's his name? What's the quarterback? Burrow coming back, that
Yeah.
you have a team around him that can at least compete.
Yeah. And protect him so he doesn't explode and become worthless, as a super
Yeah, and
young
I love
superstar.
Joe Burrow, and I think Joe Burrow could be one of the top probably 6 quarterbacks in the league if he's playing at his peak. But I think you have to actually, give him help in offensive line stuff and everything. But no, so that was the only thing that was kind of weird is you don't see any offensive help except for Brandon Allen, who was just a returning player. But
I mean, who are they? They're supposed to still draft Sewell, right? That's like the projected. That's the pipe dream. They really hope.
mhm. Yeah, Panay Sewell is probably going to them. I would assume so. I mean, I want to say that he played some right tackle in college. I can't remember exactly at Oregon. They could because they have a tackle right now already, Jonah Williams, that they drafted from Alabama. But I feel like one of them could move to right tackle, and then you'd have your tackles set for the future, which is huge. So I guess that's true. I guess they are planning on probably signing Panay Sewell. Maybe they'll shock everybody and do something ridiculous.
But like
But
no
I
skill
hope,
players is what you're saying too. Like no
yeah,
skilled players on the side.
exactly. No wide receivers, especially losing AJ Green, who again, yeah, I understand he wasn't spectacular, but if he came back healthy and was happy, he could play well. So, whatever. I mean, it's, they're at least they're doing something. There's a couple corners, good tight end or good defensive line help. They're getting there.
All right, and the alternative bandwagoning team has not really done too much either.
Well, you say that, but what they did was upgrade the 22nd pass defense in the league with John Johnson, who's one of the best safeties in the league and one of the best young safeties in the league.
Where is he from? I don't really know much about him. Where's he from?
He's from the Rams. He was one of the captains of their defense.
Okay.
So that tells you anything. He was one of the captains alongside Sam Darnold, Aaron Donald. Yeah, right. Yeah, and then Delpit, who was Delpit's an interesting pickup. Yeah, they're really deep now, but that Delpit was an interesting pickup because he was the best safety his sophomore year, and then I think his junior year he came back and wasn't that great, and people were questioning whether he wanted to play football even, or if his heart was in it. But I mean, if he comes back playing like he can, he'll be a great pickup right there at free safety. And then you plug in John Johnson as strong safety, and man, you have one of the deepest and probably one of the deepest safety cores that I've ever seen.
Yeah, and so I guess so their issue pretty much going into the playoffs is that they were playing up pretty hurt on defense, at least in their secondary.
Yeah, they were playing hurt, and then they also their secondary wasn't spectacular, didn't play spectacular last year. But you throw John Johnson in, who's a leader in the locker room, who's a captain on the defense for the Rams, and who has been one of the best safeties in the league the last few years, and who's only, again, 20, I think it's like 24, 25 years old. So again, you're signing a really young safety to step in and be a leader on that defense and that secondary, and it's huge.
Okay.
So that's what I mean. It was a shocking signing because I know who John Johnson is because I've seen him play, and he's a very, very talented safety. So it was one of those where I was like, one of the issues that they had in Cleveland was their secondary wasn't spectacular, but then you throw that out there, and yeah, it's a great pick or great signing, I feel like, and it kind of went a little underrated. It kind of didn't get talked about as much. It was like, yay, the Browns signed John Johnson. Wow, that's a great signing. And then everybody kind of changed lanes because it's free agency and everybody is focusing on everything else. But that was a great signing.
Yeah, not like a blockbuster fun signing, but just like yeah, of course. And anyways, the Cam Newton just got re-signed. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's pretty much how it went. Yeah.
The leader of men team.
Steelers doing, I don't know,
their best.
They signed Big Ben.
Yep.
They got Big Ben.
Spread that money out a little bit.
Yep.
Captain Fat Fuck, leader of men.
God, yeah, I don't know. I mean, they get Zach Banner, who they've randomly, I think last year it was this weird thing where they told Zach Banner that he was their guy moving forward at right tackle, even though Zach Banner's not that talented. They've lost everybody in the last 3 years and are trying to they're probably the worst ever edition of one last hurrah for a player that I've ever seen in my life. It's just the Saints last hurrah. They signed Emmanuel Sanders. They spent a bunch of money to get Malcolm Jenkins, who was their old safety, who played well, and they try to go all out. And then it's the Steelers are all right, we're going to get rid of our running back. We're going to get rid of our wide receiver. Our center retired. Our left tackle retired. It's just so bad.